Hello, Miss V.
Hey there.
And hi, and hello, Eric. I understand we are going to talk to the higher self of Elon Musk, who has been in the news a lot.
Eric says, love you. And Eric says to tell people that he loves the perspective from the higher self because it gets a different glimpse into people's lives and who they are, not just the surface perspective. So he really
Oh,
loves doing these.
yeah. I mean, I think Elon ought to probably watch this video and get some perspective on himself. Maybe he will. All right. So I've got so many questions. Um, when we call in a higher self, what do you see, V?
So it was funny because I'm sitting here before we get started and I do my grounding and I have my crystals and I actually called in the higher self, and it really is, it's almost like an orby kind of, but it's there's no boundary to it. It's very fluid. There's
Oh,
no hard lines to it. And honestly, it's not my literal vision. It's in
right,
my mind's eye. And so
right,
it's
sure.
very almost like a milky, smoky kind of look, if
Oh,
you will.
cool.
And the feeling is like the room is super full.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Okay, now here's some questions from the community. The first is Elon Musk a light worker and or working for the greater good? Like what's your mission on Earth?
So the mission on earth ultimately for every soul is to be here for the greater good. It's obviously to
Oh,
get love, to get compassion, to become mainstream.
yeah.
Now, throw in the fact that you carry a human personality and a human body, the course can be altered.
Okay. All right. So, but you are, well, we'll probably get into more of what your purpose was. Well, what was your specific purpose on Earth? What is, sorry, you're not one of the dead people. Forgot.
um, the main purpose was to open eyes and advance the
Okay.
community, the collective, and to really um, give a jump shot, a power shot to technology, to modernization, to the way everyday life is done.
Okay. As one of the world's richest men, do you feel a sense of responsibility to humanity? Or are you just here to have some fun? Why not both? I say.
So instantly, the higher self, says we're here for the greater good, but wanting to reiterate again the human component that takes over, perhaps leads the way. In this case, that is the truth. And the path gets murky. And what started out with good intentions, while there's still good intentions, I'm hearing, has become sidetracked a
To
bit.
what?
Um, Selfish behavior,
Okay.
a little bit of gluttony,
Okay.
um, you
With that
know,
much money, it'd be probably hard to resist.
things that aren't of the higher self nature.
Okay.
There's a
All right.
diversion.
All right. Are you aware of consciousness? I mean, the Elon Musk. Do you have a spiritual side?
Absolutely.
Good. Tell me more
Absolutely.
about that.
Now, this is the higher self saying absolutely, speaking for Elon the human.
Mhm.
Absolutely. You can't get to where I've gotten in terms of my brilliance is the word, and reluctant brilliance, and not be aware that there's something more.
Okay.
One of my desires is to bring an awareness to elevated consciousness, to help people understand that they're not just this and the body, the physical, the matter.
Okay. Do
It's
you
all of that.
regularly meditate as a human?
Yes, yes,
Okay. So
yes.
you have a daily ritual or
It's not ritualistic in the sense that I have a carved out special time for it,
Oh, okay.
because my schedule is so crazy all over
Oh,
the place.
okay. Now, does Elon have any karmic debt that he's making up for in this lifetime?
So, one of the things that Eric wants me to speak on and to clarify here is Elon and the higher self are the same. And
Okay.
so, if we are talking to the higher self, we are talking to Elon. And so, um, he just wanted me to clarify that.
Okay.
The karmic debt, everybody comes in with a laundry list. Everybody comes in with something that needs to be fine tuned.
Mhm.
One of the things that I came in with was my level of advancement, not necessarily the age of my soul, but you will understand it as the age of the soul.
Mhm.
My level of advancement is relatively young. I am a
Oh,
relatively young soul.
wow.
I'm not a new soul, I'm a young soul.
Okay.
And what I'd like to educate people on is, as a young soul, think about a toddler.
Okay.
Think about a child under the age of 9 or 10.
Okay.
Very self centric, very now, me, not quite understanding the balance and the parameters of where it's appropriate to speak and say something.
Delayed gratification. It's not
Correct.
on the
Correct.
retarded.
That's
Yeah.
very interesting. I find that
That
fascinating.
is interesting. So is there a karmic debt that, and if so, what do you do? What is it? And what are
Um,
you doing to fix it?
The karmic debt has to do around material stuff and coming from a lifetime where there wasn't much. um, I was given the opportunity to have an overabundance, as you know. My challenge in this lifetime is not necessarily learning how to manage the physical abundance, but rather the mental approach to the abundance.
Oh, can you talk more about that lifetime? Perhaps this is the lifetime that most lifetime
Um,
influences your lifetime as Elon Musk.
And so that lifetime that I'm paying back or balancing out, there was a very drastic measure of poverty. I was orphaned in that life. I was left to fend for myself, and my ability to feed myself was dependent on how, this is interesting, how cunning I
Mm,
could be.
okay.
Because if I didn't use my street smarts, I didn't necessarily feed myself.
Mm. Can you give an example?
Mhm. And so I would do this time I see is in the late 18th century.
Okay.
And this is I'm confirming it with the higher self.
Okay.
Um, and the higher self goes on to tell me that um, it was like he, I, sorry, I'm getting my pronouns confused, would be a street performer.
Oh.
He would be a runner
Mhm.
for illicit or illegal activities.
Oh boy.
Um, he even became what we would come to know as a hitman,
Oh.
taking out people that didn't meet certain criteria of the people in power. When I was in that life, I looked at power equals money,
Oh, yeah.
equals success, equals self worth.
Wow.
And I misused it. As you fast forward and I come into this life, it's all about the greater good, giving back. I inherently understand that. I have the checklist from that life, but somewhere the lesson of humility has gotten lost. I can see it. It's very clear. I am traveling a path of entitlement at this
It's
moment.
hard. It
At
must be
this
difficult.
moment.
Yeah. Will you succeed in establishing a multi-planetary species before you die?
I don't believe that's in the cards.
Yeah, it seems like a big stretch.
Yeah, it's not what is my main focus.
All right, here's a couple of questions about your plan to colonize Mars. His plan to colonize Mars is either a marketing gimmick, as it's uninhabitable, mainly due to the lack of protective magnetic field, or does he know something that none of all the experts is aware of? So tell us about your plan to colonize Mars.
To be honest, it's grandiose.
It's okay, grandiose.
It's grandiose. It's hopeful. My deepest intentions are good. Is to inspire and to give hope and to always push people beyond their limits of understanding. But it's grandiose.
Okay. Here's another follow-up. Does Elon know that in order to successfully colonize Mars, if the Earth is gone, women will have to be able to conceive? One of my off-world contacts said to me that an Earth female can't menstruate once they reach Mars. In fact, she claims 90 days out, they will cease menstruating. She also says Mars is too inhospitable to humans to inhabit. Has your incarnated self considered this? And is there truth to that?
We agree, and hence
Okay.
we're not doing it.
Well, some people think that Elon, there's this theory that we have these cataclysmic events that sort of wipe out most of humanity every 12.5 thousand years or 25,000 years, I can't remember. And that he is looking at that as a possible thing that's coming up, and he wants to escape that possibility, the cataclysm, that cataclysmic event. Although I am told that the good aliens are going to prevent us from being wiped out and having to start all over again.
So there has been a galactic war going on forever. This is the higher self. There's been a galactic war going on forever. Use the term behind the scenes, if you will. We are fiercely protected as a species.
Good.
We are not going to perish. We are not going anywhere, if only for research purposes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're good research specimens. Does Elon have any connections with Tesla or Thomas Edison?
With Tesla?
Mm-hmm. With Nikola Tesla?
Yeah, or Edison.
Yeah.
Or Edison, you said? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, because when you said Tesla, it like reverberated through my head. I'm like, yeah. There's a lineage. In one of the lifetimes, there's a lineage. There's a lifetime where, now back up, not the word lineage, the higher self is telling me, what is it? An acquaintance, like lived during the time where Tesla was being created, with the generations of Tesla's family. So not necessarily a direct connect link, but
you had lives together?
In human terms, use family friend is
okay. So there was
no direct connection.
Okay, so but did you share any lives with Tesla?
The family's life.
Okay, got it.
Not necessarily a direct connection to Tesla.
Okay,
Sorry, that was
I
very
understand.
like to get out.
What about Thomas Edison?
No, there's no bloodline to Edison.
And no shared lives.
I don't see there's no bloodline or connection to Edison, is what I'm hearing.
Okay. Are you a starseed? You're so interested in space, with SpaceX and the Mars thing. And
yes, Yes. And basically, what that means is I'll always long to go home.
Oh.
And that may indicate that I will reach beyond the norm and I will dream beyond the norm because of my deep connection to home.
Hmm. Do you have some spiritual contract with Tesla to unveil free energy?
This is something that I have been working on with the soul, the essence, the higher self of Tesla to
Oh,
bring forward. Yes. These are visions I have. These are dreams I have. When I connect to Tesla, I try to do the very best I can to bring this wisdom that is being given to me, to bring it forward in a way that doesn't scare people.
mm.
And a lot of times, because of my presentation and my style, I don't have a filter. And a lot of times, people may get scared or be off put by my behavior.
Are you on the spectrum,
Yes.
neuroatypical?
He considers himself to have Asperger's, he says.
Okay, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
Mm-mm. No, no.
So, Nikola Tesla made this car that ran on scalar energy, and it could go up to like 92 miles an hour or something like I can't remember, and without ever running out of juice. Why didn't you create cars like that? That didn't have to have batteries, but actually ran on scalar energy, which
I'm
is
just
infinite energy.
We're just not ready for that. We're really not there yet. Um, this may happen in my lifetime and it may not, but rest assured, if it does happen, I'll be the person making it happen.
Wow. Have you considered
It's
the
like he's
human?
showing me things have to get in order. Everything has to play right together.
Right.
But also he's telling me he's being sidetracked. It's almost like a conspiracy to sidetrack him, to divert him from his bigger plan. Let's point the finger at my flaws and let's look at the human part of me so that it distracts from what I'm really here to do, which is to advance humanity.
Wow. Well, I'm sure the fossil fuel giants would not want you to tap into scalar energy, correct?
And that's exactly it.
That might be dangerous for you.
It's exactly it.
We still need fossil fuels to create plastics and things like that. So, and even
Don't step on their toes is what
yeah.
and he says, don't worry, my cunningness from the past life gives me exactly what I need.
Oh, good. So, had you thought about creating something that ran on scalar energy as a
Of
human?
course, of course, of course,
Okay.
of course. And he's also very complimentary to what you're doing
Oh,
with
thank
it.
you.
And he says this also will step on toes and you will find yourself amidst a bunch of haters and perhaps even take a breath, big pharma knocking on your door.
Ugh, whatever. Okay, so are you, do you have you been a famous inventor like Leon? You sound like Leonardo da Vinci, for example, in another life.
Mhm. What I was a creative. Yes, not necessarily Leonardo da Vinci, but I was an expressive creator.
Anybody
Not,
we would
nec-
know from
not
history?
necessarily to the
Okay,
magnitude that it would have been made. I would have been made famous, but it
okay.
was always in my plan to create.
Oh. In a channeling post, I think it was an interview with Nikola Tesla. It was said in the chilling Erik post, sorry. I think it was an interview with Nikola Tesla. It was said that a new type of energy would be created through fusion. Is that something Elon has been or will be involved in?
Not to this point.
Okay, so that's a hard no, or is
Hard
it
no,
maybe?
right. Not
Okay,
to say that it's not being done, but not to this point.
okay.
Is he involved?
Okay. The Mountaintop Observatory in Sunspot closed for 11 days in 2018. Sunspot's a place, I guess. But the Research Association that manages it has said only that an unspecified security issue was the reason for the closure. Do you happen to know what kind of security issues they were talking about?
There, he says it was a leak, not a literal leak, but a breach in security where things were taken, things were
Like what?
he's very reluctant to bring that forward.
Is it research or tangible things that were taken?
Research.
Okay.
Mhm.
Are you already working on flying cars?
This is Eric's laughing. Eric's
I know it's always in the future is like it's gonna be flying cars.
yes, right.
Yeah.
He says, yes, of course I am. Of course I am. He says, if there are airplanes, there will be flying cars.
Yeah. Oh my
I love
God.
it. And he goes on to further say, it could be in our lifetime.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So you are actually physically working on that and
Mhm.
mentally work. Okay, good. Will non-degradable batteries be released during your lifetime?
Hmm. Um, if I can have anything to do with it, they will. It's like he says, I hit a roadblock. You know, it's funny because what I keep hearing is a consistent pattern. He takes one step forward and he gets pushed back 2 steps by powers that be.
Yeah.
There's always the human component of greed and don't step on my toes is what I'm hearing from the higher self.
Uphill battle. Yeah,
It's really like he's being censored in a way. Um,
that's
and really, one of the things he's saying very adamantly, he does not like to be controlled
no, I'm
in
sure he
any
doesn't.
sense of the
No.
word.
Okay, I think about how electric cars are supposed to be good for the environment. However, the strip mining and all that it takes to get the lithium and all these components for the batteries, I think it's a zero-sum game.
Mhm.
Is it? Game, is
Yes,
it?
yes. And you'll never see us go totally all that way. It will never be all that way for
Well,
various
scalar
reasons.
energy,
But
that could be the answer.
yes, yes, but
Yeah.
for various reasons, we're always going to have a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
just the way it's going to be. Uh,
Yeah.
people also, he says that people who don't have an understanding of things, it's almost as if it doesn't exist to them. So
Right.
you're going to have, and he's talking on the terms of enlightenment in any way, shape, or form, whether it's electric cars, modernization of how we get around, or spiritual evolution.
Yeah, exactly. And I think about the closure of all the pipelines, but isn't it better
That's
for
not
the
for long.
environment?
That's
Isn't
not for long.
isn't that better for the environment than loading all that oil up in diesel trucks and trucking it across the country? I mean,
But he
really?
says, look at the
No logic.
monetary. Look at this, he says.
Yeah. Is electric energy and engines better for the environment than traditional ones? All in all.
Yes. But there's a downside to everything. So what he's showing me is there's a lot of with energy, any kind of energy, it's a thing, right? If you
Yeah.
walk in a room and you're getting close to somebody, you feel that. There could be some sort of conflict with all of the energy if we tip the scales too far.
What do you mean?
Well, one's energy could interfere with another one's energy, and in terms of the
Oh,
cars and the the feelers. Listen, I'm not the energy expert. I just
I'm
know the
not.
energy work I do. It just works. But what
Yeah.
he's dumbing it down for me, and so if everybody's flying around and we're all having energy, then we up the level of energy. But we haven't taught people how to work with energy, then we have an issue.
Well, can you put that in more tangible terms as far as electric cars coexisting with combustion cars, engine cars?
Well, because then there won't be an overabundance. Like we have to keep a balance of everything. And that includes, putting out the fuel into the system, overtaxing the electricity. Because think of it like this, if that becomes the norm, everything goes out of balance, because then inevitably the electrical stuff will get eaten up and it will become a commodity that's almost unaffordable to most people. So
Oh,
that's the
wow. Okay.
simplest way to think about it.
Okay. Are there any better alternatives in the pipeline?
Not at this point.
Okay. What inspired you to want to create electric cars?
I'm always driven by the fact that there's a better way. I'm driven by the fact that we can think out of the box. I'm also very curious in the electricity and how it works in the body and how we're connected. And I think one plays with the other. And
Mm.
I was fascinated in technology my whole life. And I just knew I was going to bring something forward that hadn't fully manifested yet.
Oh, interesting. When or will we be able to mine asteroids, or for that matter, the moon, to stop polluting the earth?
To mine asteroids to stop polluting the earth?
Yeah, to get the lithium, precious metals, rare earth minerals, things like that for the batteries, I guess.
Yeah, well, in general. Um,
Yeah.
wow. He said, if it's not already happening,
Oh, wow.
there's an interesting statement. If it's not
Yeah.
already happening, it will be very soon.
Mm, that's good.
Interesting.
Wow. Can you imagine
Uh,
landing on an asteroid coming in hot? Oh my God.
but everything he talks about is bringing, he's very mindful. And I think this comes from the past life. He's very mindful about greed,
Oh,
very mindful about greed.
okay.
Now, balance his wealth, he says, right now, and some of the shenanigans that he's being accused of. He says, yeah, I need to get in check a little bit.
Right. Okay. In an interview, you said you never ran into aliens during your work at Starlink. Is it true? Is that true? You never came across aliens?
I never have come across aliens, but I will tell you this. I have communicated with aliens,
How so?
um, mental,
Oh, telepathy?
like your readers can do and your listeners can do. Yes. Everybody has that ability because it's energy. He leans in to tell
Yeah.
me because it's energy.
So,
And yeah,
are you, as Elon Musk, the human, aware that this information is coming from aliens?
absolutely.
So you believe in aliens?
Absolutely.
Well, that's the end of part 2. We got another part. We
Absolutely.
divided these questions up. So,
He also says that anybody that doesn't believe in alien life form, call it whatever you want, he says, it just isn't in touch with reality.
okay. Yeah, that's true. All right. So thank you so much. We'll get into the whole Twitter thing and all that for part 2. So you guys be sure you hit the notification bell so that you don't miss that, and share this with Elon's fans, etc. Thank you, Veronica, veronicadrake.com. Thank you, Eric, and thank you, Higher Self of Elon Musk. It was such an honor.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.